about 1 minute. And again, I want to thank everyone for coming. I hope that you've enjoyed our caterers' wonderful pizza, lasagna, salad, and we'll be having dessert later on. I'd like to begin the program by first thanking our wonderful hosts, Travis Pham and Greg Dina, standing right over here. They're absolutely the hostess of the mostest. Thank you very much. I don't know what our Westchester-Playa Democratic Club would do without them. They're such an inspiration to all of us. They graciously open their home whenever you call upon them. They're right there to help. And again, thank you, Travis and Greg, and I want to give you, again, a round of applause. I'd next like to thank our host committee, and I would like for everyone to please stand. We're going to start out with Vince Bertolini. Where's Vince? My board member, our VP of Operations. Vince Bertolini is at the front desk. See, we've got the most hardest working Democrats in the city, I have to tell you. What can I say? Vince Bertolini, Greg Dina, Catherine Evans, Susie Frierson. Where's Susie? Susie, please stand up. Thank you. Val and Frank Velasco, please stand up over there. And they're amazing, aren't they? Catherine Evans could not be with us tonight. She's back in Alabama at a Crimson Tide football game. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. I'm missing someone. I know I am. Susan Ward. Where's Susan? Back there. Thank you very much, Susan. Without them, we could have not had this wonderful celebration in honor of you, all of our wonderful Democrats. I want to thank my board members, Bill Roberts, VP of Political Affairs, Vince, who's outside working, Lee Aziz, who couldn't be here tonight. And again, most of all, I want to thank you, our members. Without you, again, we would not be here today. We would not have the amazing club that we have here in Westchester. You know, again, you are the people that inspire us. You're the ones that do the heavy lifting. You're the ones that carry our political representatives' messages. You're the ones that carry the values that we share as Democrats, and that we believe in equality. We believe in justice. We believe in having to live a life in which everyone has a fair shot at the American dream. We believe in taking care of our brothers and sisters, and if they can't make it, then we believe in giving them a lift up. These are just a few of our values, and again, I want to thank each and every one of you. Give yourselves a round of applause. I want to recognize some of our representatives that are here that, that are going to be working hard in the near future and helping to get other candidates elected. But first I want to, I'm looking around the audience, and I see that we have Robert Poole Miles, right? I can't see everybody. I'm sorry, I don't have a list. So whoever I'm missing, please come forward, stand up, and recognize so that we can recognize you. No one's coming forward. All right, we've got one candidate. Come and hold my hand. Jeffrey Cannon. This man has worked so hard to get elected. I have to tell you that it's an honor to know you and to have you running as a Democrat and looking to be our next county assessor. Our Democrat candidate for the 62nd Assembly District. There's Autumn back there. Who else am I missing in terms of candidates? Susie Shannon, come and get, Sue Himmelrich for the City of Santa Monica, right? City Council. Scott Houston from Waterboard, our neighbor. Yeah. Mark Henderson, City of Gardena. Thank you very much. Gardena's in the house. Who else am I missing that I'm not recognizing? Please stand up, raise your hand. Bobby Jean Anderson, my wonderful friend, Vice President of LACDP. Thank you very much for being here. Pat Sanders, former President, New Frontier Democratic Club. Paul Robin, President of SLA Democratic Club. There she is. Dorothy Wright, President of Progressive Democrat Santa Monica Mountain. There's Dorothy. Where's Julian Berger, President of Progressives in the South Bay? Wow, what a house, huh? All these Democrats. Oh, this is fabulous. Who did I miss? I said Carl. Oh yeah, my buddy Ari. Young Stonewall Democrat. Stand up and take a ride. Oh, what fun. I love this. I absolutely love this. Well, let's get this, how much you hate that.
But we were going to do it at the end, but some people have to leave soon, so.
We're going to do it now. At this time, we'd like to present you with a plaque. For all of the many years of dedication to the Westchester-Playa Democratic Club. There is an only woman who works hard with the Democrats in Southern California, and Sheila Mickelson. We all know her, we love her, we care about her.
And this is her last event as being president. So this is why we are awarding this plaque to her for 7 years of inspiration and dedication. Thank you, Sheila.
Bravo!
I'm speechless. Oh my God, this is my family. I love each and every one of you, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Aww.
Excuse me. Since you've already been interrupted, we may as well continue this interruption. There's no sense to have a break in it. And I have something I'd like to present to you. And I know that you're thinking about my little resolutions and my certificates that I give all the time. But you're so deserving for so many reasons. Not only because you have led this Westchester Democratic Club. Do you know you've changed the direction of Westchester? Do you understand that you have opened up all of this progressive leadership? And you're responsible for that. We're so appreciative. And I'm sorry that this is going to be your last event under your watch.
No, we're going to have a big old Christmas party, honey.
We are? Okay. All right. Okay. But also, since we're interrupting, and I have the certificate to present to you, I also have something else to present. Is tomorrow your birthday?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sheila. Happy birthday to you.
So, since you think you're so organized and you have everything together, we just messed you up.
Thank you, Bill. I love you guys.
Okay, you can have it back.
Maxine knows me in my organizational skills, right? Let me just say something. I am, like I said, I'm speechless. I don't know if I can continue, but I want to thank each and every one of you because you made this possible. And our board, and the people that started out on the steering committee of Hope, Nancy over there. Thank you for bringing the flowers, by the way, Nancy. Dennis Hernandez, 7 years ago, we were sitting in Joan Coleman's TV room. That's right, doing bylaws. Remember? Wow, this brings back.
In your kitchen.
That's right, that's right. I mean, that's how our little club got started, and today it's become a powerhouse because of this. And again, I want to thank you very much. There's one person I didn't recognize who's here representing the mayor, and that's Daniel Tam. Let's give Daniel a round of applause. So I'm going to start the program, and I'm just going to say today we're honoring a woman that I love. With my
We all do.
We all do, that's right. And I'm going to save my speech for later, but it's an incredible opportunity to honor you, a woman who truly stands for democracy in this country and fights every single day for the people. From Westchester to Wall Street, from Westchester to Law Street. That's exactly right, from Westchester to Wall Street. You'll remember, huh? Westchester to Wall Street. Again, it's tremendously an honor for us, and especially for me, with this being my last We're All in This Together event, because we are. You know, we've got elections coming up in November, and we've got to get the people out to vote. It's so serious. I mean, it's so serious. I don't know if we can take back the House, but we've got to protect the Senate. We've got Betty Yee that we have to elect as our state controller. You know, the Republicans have an agenda. Let me just tell you this. They're motivated. We can't sit home as Democrats and not allow our controller position to be taken from us. They're wanting to build a wall, okay? And that's the first stepping stone to the wall in the state of California in our elections. We can't do that. We only have 17% voter turnout in Los Angeles County. We can't have that again. Los Angeles County is, as you well know, the county as well as San Francisco and the northern counties that carry this state in terms of Democrats. And that means we have to be talking to our neighbors. We have to be talking to our friends. We've got to get on the phones, and we have to be working together. We don't have any sexy ballot measures. We did have Prop 49, unfortunately, that Ted Lieu authored in terms of overturning Citizens United and advisory. Give a round of applause. We don't have that because, as you well know, it's back in the courts being determined whether it can be on the ballot. So I just, you know, it's critical. I mean, we've seen what's going on in Washington, and we've seen how the Republican Tea Party agenda is to take Barack Obama down and not accomplish anything, to destroy government, to keep the tax breaks for the wealthy, to get rid of all of our safety nets, right? To get rid of food stamps, to get rid of public education. This is not the America that you and I grew up in, and it's up to us. And having leaders like Congresswoman Waters and Senator Ted Lieu running to be elected and take Haley Waxman's seat, and our wonderful Councilman Bonin fighting for a living wage! Yes! Bradford fighting every day in Sacramento, and our wonderful Al Muratsuchi, as well as my Assemblyman who's going to be terming out, and my controller who I just love. Absolutely, I think he knows that. Watching over the purse strings in Los Angeles. Thank you very much. I'm going to stop talking because, you know, I'm like a politician. You gave me a microphone and I'm happy, right? So anyway, on that note, we're going to start out with our tribute speakers in honoring our amazing Congresswoman Maxine Waters. Let me put some glasses on so I can read, and I'll get out of the way. Oh, and let me just say this. I didn't recognize our sponsors for this evening. You have been amazing, and you're going to help us spend money and help to elect Democrats. Whether it's here in California, up and down the state, but also around the country. And I want to recognize Councilman Rosendahl as our platinum sponsor. Take a bow. Councilman Bonin, a bronze sponsor. Assemblymember Al Muratsuchi, a patron. Wonderful. Mike Sheila could not be here tonight, and he's also a sponsor of our event. And also our city controller, Galperin. Thank you very much. On that note, I'm going to be introducing Senator Ted Lieu to you. Ted is now serving his third term in the legislature, and he's been a leader in standing up to Wall Street excesses, reforming the subprime mortgage industry, increasing greenhouse building, reducing global warming, protecting public safety, preventing domestic violence. Ted has repeatedly stood up to powerful interests on behalf of consumers, crime victims, seniors, children, those without a voice. He's got big shoes to fill in Washington, D.C. and Henry Waxman's shoes, but we know he's going to be an amazing progressive Democrat back there and do a great job. Senator Ted Lieu, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you for all your service to this organization. And let me also thank Greg and Travis for opening up their beautiful home, and all of you for being here to honor Congresswoman Maxine Waters. And I also want to say hello to Ambassador Sidney Williams, and I'm always happy when I see Sidney because I am a Cleveland Browns fan. I used to play for the Browns. So thank you for being here. And why do we all here love Congresswoman Waters? It's not just because she fights for issues. It's because she is amazingly effective. She was effective when she was in the state legislature, incredibly effective as a member of Congress. When she was in the state legislature, she authored and got through the largest divestment in California history from South Africa. She championed bold progressive legislation for her entire career, and in Congress, she got $10 billion to help cities with loans to build their infrastructure. She got $6 billion through something she authored called the Neighborhood Stabilization Program to help cities and neighborhoods fight against foreclosures and blight. And she also spearheaded the Minority AIDS Initiative that now gets $400 million a year. So she has done so much to help so many people in California and America. That's why we love Congresswoman Waters. She also understands that it's really easy to be a member of Congress if what you want to do is help ExxonMobil. It's really easy to help the rich and powerful. What is much harder is helping those who are poor, those who are oppressed, those who don't have a voice, those who are undocumented, and that's what she's been doing every single year in office. She speaks truth to power. She is one of the most powerful women in America. It's just an honor for her to represent this area. And we know she's going to continue to do amazing things because we will take back the House, if not this year, then in 2016. And when that happens,
you'll be there.
Thank you. And Congresswoman Waters is what many of us elected officials aspire to be. She has done so much good work for those who really did not win the lottery like many of us here have, right? All of us really have won the lottery. We generally have jobs. We generally have okay families. We are not in a place. We're not in a place right where we worry about getting shot. And there are folks that are not so lucky as we are. And she has a heart and compassion for people who just need a little bit to get moving forward. You give them that social safety net. You give them a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of help, and then they will do amazing things for California and America. And that's where her entire life is about. And it's so amazing that she's here, and it's our honor to honor you. So on behalf of a grateful state and a community, thank you for all that you've done. All right. So whatever Sheila says, I do. She's directing me to introduce the next person, which is Assemblymember Steve Bradford, who has been a fabulous legislator for all of you, and he knows a lot about energy and utilities. He's done some great work there, and he is a tremendous progressive representative. And with that, Steve, why don't you come up?
Thank you, Senator. And I want to thank Sheila for all her great leadership for the Westchester-Playa Democratic Club. But as we all know, we're here to honor and pay tribute to one of the most powerful individuals, not women, but one of the most powerful individuals in these United States. And as I think about leadership, how many folks can we name by and recognize by just one name? You know, maybe outside the president, we don't recognize our elected officials by just one name. You know, it's a whole bunch of Teds, a whole bunch of Steves, but we all know it's only one Maxine. And I don't care where you go across this country, and they find out Maxine Waters is your congressperson, they say you have a fighter, you have a warrior. And one of the reasons I wanted to be an elected official was because of the great work that Maxine Waters has done for almost 40 years. And I've spent the last 5 years in the legislature, but one of the biggest tributes was the compliments that Democrats and Republicans who served with her still refer to you with great regard and reverence. Bill Duplessis, Rusty Reyes, all the guys that were in the fight when the legislature meant something. And you were there as a true champion on all the social issues. Believe it, Nelson Mandela and apartheid, Nelson Mandela probably would have never been free, and apartheid would have probably never ended if it wasn't for Maxine Waters. It is often said, so goes California, so goes the nation, and so goes the nation, so goes the world. It started in California with Maxine Waters. But what I admire most is that she's never stuck her finger up in the air and see which way the political winds are blowing. Because had she done that, she would be on a short list for U.S. Senate. She would be on a short list on a presidential ticket. She would be on a short list on a whole lot of things that she's not on, because she never compromised her politics. Many times you talk about politicians, Maxine Waters is a public servant. And it's a big difference. It's a big difference because she can relate to Ferguson. Because she grew up right next door in Kinloch, in East St. Louis. So she knows the challenges those young men are facing, not only in Kinloch, not only in East St. Louis, not only in Ferguson, but all across this nation. I chair the Select Committee of Boys and Men of Color, and it's young individuals who have come and testified, and they have all, from this region, always referenced the great work that this woman has done on the federal level. So we are honored to be here and just say thank you for all your leadership. Thank you for your counsel. I was in Washington a few months ago, and you graciously took me in, and it was like a fireside chat. And as I said earlier this morning, Don Lewis, hearing from you is like hearing from your favorite aunt. Whether you like it or not, we know it's the truth. So thank you, and God bless you for the truth. And I'm charged with introducing my colleague who serves just a little south of me, but has been in the legislature now for 2 years and doing great work on carrying on the mantle of making sure not only the South Bay, but the state of California moves in a very progressive manner, none other than Al Muratsuchi. Yeah.
Thank you, and good evening, Democrats. Yeah. Before I go any further in paying my respects and my tribute to our great Maxine Waters here, I just want to thank each and every one of you. I know that I would not be in the California State Assembly without the hard work of so many of you here. So thank you very much, and especially to your outgoing president, Sheila Mickelson. Thank you, Sheila, for all of your dedicated work to elect Democrats. I ask you to excuse me, I'm a little dressed down. I got my walking shoes and my walking shades because I just came from walking precincts. But, you know, if there is one woman, one public servant who works harder, I have to admit, works harder than me, it is Maxine Waters. With all due respect to all the electeds here. You know, I know that because I come from the city of Torrance, and I am proud to say that Maxine is my Congresswoman. And, you know, I know that there were some folks in Torrance that were a little nervous when they first heard that Maxine was going to be representing Torrance. Because I think, you know, it sounds like Torrance and Westchester might have a little something in common.
Hey, she's representing Harvard City,
But people love Maxine, and people love Maxine because she is always there. You know, I mean, whether you're talking about a right-wing former mayor like, you know, Frank Scotto, you know, or some of the other folks that we have in my district that I have to continue to deal with. You know, I mean, people, Maxine has earned the respect of people because she is always there. And, you know, I mean, I know, I can imagine how hard that trip must be back and forth from Washington, but I know that you come back from Washington back to your district every single week, and I know that you cannot say that for all of our members of Congress. So, you know, my goal is to be everywhere that Maxine is, because if I'm at half of the places that Maxine is, I know that I'm doing a good job. So, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, thank you very much for all your service.
just for 1 second and recognize candidate Bill Allen running for the Senate seat, SD 26. And there's our wonderful school board member, Steve Zimmer. Yeah. We just came off of an incredible battle with the Congresswoman and my friend Carolyn over there in electing George McKenna to District 1. What an amazing opportunity for that district to have him representing. I'm bowing out. Before I sit down, I have to say hello to Sydney. Hi, Sydney. Welcome. Ambassador Sydney Williams, say hello. And Congresswoman Waters' son, Edward, back there, say hello. Thank you and welcome and thank you for coming in. Now I'm turning it over to Mike Bonin.
All right, I think Mike doesn't need any introduction, but you know, I was Timothy Littman, my district director, was giving me some notes on how to introduce Mike, and you know, I read something about how you hate ties and how you have some kind of like a organic apple pie that only lucky people can eat. But, you know, without any further ado, Mike Bonin.
Thank you very much. Those are actually the two parts of my bio I like best, so thank you for that. Sheila, happy birthday to you, and congratulations and thank you for everything that you've done and has been mentioned for what you've done for Democrats here in Westchester. You have given Democrats in this area a new life. Like you, I've been around this community for a long time. And I kind of remember when Democrats in the Westchester-Playa Del Rey area were in the closet. I remember when Bud Castman was a Democrat, and I remember when John Frierson was a Democrat, and I remember when the rest of us, and you've helped given a new life to progressive values in this community. And thank you, Maxine, for everything that you've done and everything you do. I moved to LA in '91, but I knew of you before I moved here. I knew of you when I lived in Massachusetts because as an undergraduate in college, I was an anti-apartheid activist. And our mission for a number of years was to try to get our university to divest from that apartheid state. And even across the country, we knew of you and what you were doing here in California. You were a clear, distinctive voice of moral conscience and of accomplishment that encouraged us and encouraged people around this country and around the world. Big deal. Maxine has had such a remarkable record in Congress. There's a lot of people in Congress, a lot of people even from California, who are kind of wishy-washy. You don't really know where they stand. Are they going to be with us when it counts? There's some people who are not the biggest fans in the world of Maxine Waters, but nobody has ever said you don't know where she stands. If you're a lonely anti-apartheid activist or a lonely activist for social justice in any corner of the world, you know that Maxine Waters is on your side. If you are poor or impoverished in this country, whether you are even registered to vote or not, you know that Maxine Waters is on your side.
There you go.
If you feel like you are screwed and all the odds are against you because all the money is concentrated in Wall Street or because a big bank is going to throw you out of the home that you have scraped and earned your life savings for, Maxine Waters is on your side. If 20 years ago you were sick from AIDS, or today you're sick from cancer or some other disease, and you're scared because some small-minded bureaucrat is cutting off funding, or some Tea Party Republican is trying to stop stem cell research, Maxine Waters is on your side.
There you go.
Now, Al mentioned that Torrance was a little skittish when they found out Maxine was going to be their rep. Well, so was Westchester, to be honest. Maxine who? I remember getting panicked phone calls. What is this going to mean for Westchester? Well, I'll tell you what it's meant for Westchester. If you care about whether or not this airport expands into our neighborhoods, if you care about whether school kids in Lenox or in Westchester are going to be deafened by airport noise, if you care about whether the people who live near this airport are going to be infected with pollution and ultrafine particles, Maxine Waters is on your side.
That's right.
If you care about the environment or the Biona wetlands or the West Bluffs or any protected area in this area, Maxine Waters is on your side. Yeah. And our mayor, while he was a councilman, used to say that you cannot reach for the stars until you've taken care of the sidewalks. Yeah. Well, we've got a big problem with sidewalks in Los Angeles. If you care about the sidewalks in Westchester, Maxine Waters has proven she is on our side. On behalf of everybody in Westchester who was afraid of you a few years ago, on behalf of everybody who sat in a cool shanty on a college campus to fight apartheid 20 years ago, on behalf of everybody in LA, thank you for everything you do, man. And now I have the pleasure of introducing my friend. Get on up here so I can introduce you. Ron Galperin. We could not have in the city of Los Angeles a better fiscal watchdog, a better advocate for transparency, a better champion for smart and open government than Ron Galperin. We are so lucky to have him, and we are so lucky that when everybody said this guy has no chance of getting elected controller, when everybody else was coming out and saying it's going to be somebody else, this guy said, I ain't going to listen to these 10 polls that show me losing. I am going to win. And because of activists like the folks gathered in this backyard, the Democratic Party and progressives turned out, and we have the best controller we have ever had in the history of LA.
Oh my gosh, how do I follow that up? First of all, I wanted to thank Mike for such a gracious introduction. I have to say, I consider myself to be the luckiest guy around, because I love what I do every day, and I also get to work with some amazing people on the council, and people who are smart, and people who know what they're doing, and who are inspired, and who are progressive, and who are making change every single day. And Mike, you are at the top of that list, so thank you very, very, very much. And I have to say a word about Sheila as well, who's not just the retiring, as it were, president of Westchester Dems, but has been the den mother, has been the organizer, has been absolutely everything, chief cook and bottle washer of the Westchester Dems, and has found a way to do this. First of all, you can't say no to her, but beside that, has found a way to do it with such fun and with such inspiration. When I heard you talking about the values that we share as Democrats, it really, it's so well articulated why we are all here and why it's important that we're all here to really propel our party and all of those who are involved in it forward. But now, about Maxine Waters. I have to say that this is one of those days that I actually find myself pinching myself a little bit. Because if you would have told me that 20 years ago that I'd have the opportunity to stand up here in front of this esteemed and illustrious group and actually to pay tribute to a woman who's been a heroine of mine and who for many years I watched from afar and saw what she did and thought, whoa! I really do feel like I'm needing to pinch myself of being able to pay tribute to this incredible heroine. I can think of probably no better word to describe you than fierce. Because you are not just, as has been described by some in the media, one of those powerful women in America, but you are that because you're smart, you're savvy, you have this ability to cut through the you-know-what, you say what you mean what you say, and you do it with a tremendous amount of conviction, and it emanates from every single pore that you have. And by the way, you do it while looking fabulous for pretty much all the time, which is pretty good. you've managed to transform more than one country, which is more than I think most people can ever say. If you get to transform one country, that's pretty good, but more than one? First, what you have done in terms of South Africa, which would not be here, it would not be where it is today, had you not stepped forward and taken the mantle of leadership and shown the great fortitude and the great strength that you did and led other people to do the same. And you have done the very same, not just for California, but for all of the country. And we all owe you this incredible debt of gratitude. And I also have to say that I grew up in St. Louis, like you did, for many years. And it is not so easy for a young woman of color to grow up in St. Louis and to rise and to become what you have become. And we can still see in St. Louis it ain't such an easy place to be for many people. And you have been an example and a role model to women, to men, to everybody for what it is that you have accomplished. And I could not be more honored to be here to pay tribute in this small little way to an incredible heroine, Maxine Waters. And I also have the honor to introduce Bill Rosendahl.
All right. Bill.
Thank you. I'm just grateful to be here with her.
And Bill Rosendahl, as we all know, is an incredible fighter. And the fact that you are here with us looking better than ever is a great testament to that, by the way. And you spent years doing amazing work on the City Council. And I, by the way, owe you a personal debt of gratitude as well, because he paved the way for so many other out-elected LGBT leaders. And you did so not just by being a great LGBT leader, but by being a great leader. And thank you so much for all of your work. And the microphone is yours. Thank you.
God bless you, man. When I got up this morning, I saw that Mike Bonin has 8 events today. Which event is this? The 7th. Give him a round of applause. How do you think I feel? I love the guy, and to see him so active and so engaged, and then to listen to him speak, far better than I can speak. No, he is the best, so I'm really happy. And Ted left, but Ted comes and he goes, but he's fighting the fight, and we got to have him in Congress. And I know we're going to get him in Congress. It'll make a big difference, and it'll help Maxine start to build a majority back over there. Well, Sheila, where's Sheila?
Right here.
Birthday girl. Lord have mercy. God bless you. You're still a kid. When you get as old as me, not old, I'm not that old, but I am older than her. So then she's just a child and all of that. And this big guy, give him another round of applause, will you? Well, let me just start off basically by saying I was here a year ago and I was honored. And frankly, I didn't know until somebody just sitting here told me that. And that's one of the realities I suffer through with cancer. Your short-term memory is gone. I'm in the process of rebuilding it. There are people who are blurs in my life. There's others that aren't blurs. I don't remember this or I remember that or whatever. And it's an ongoing process. The hope is anybody who has cancer is that you can fight the fight and win the battle and never give up hope.
Right.
There's too many people in the club when I look over there at Val Velasco that if I don't mention your name, just know this right up on Steve Zimmer's over there, still fighting the right fights too, is I came here 8 years ago and fell in love with Westchester. You know, I've always loved Maxine because we go way back, and I'll share a little bit of that in a moment. But when I saw the democracy in action here, created by you folks in Westchester, I fell in love with it. I said, this is what we're all about. At least that's the democracy I believe in. And if any politician walks into the room and thinks they have all the answers, they don't. You can listen, you can learn, and you can end up coming up with ideas and solutions that you might not have thought of. So don't be afraid to be with the people. Well, Westchester's people are my family. It grew over that period of time. And when And she asked me, would I be the big shot here financially and all. It was a no-brainer for me, though I don't have that kind of money, but I did it because the club is the best democracy expression in Westchester, and thank you for that. Now about Miss Maxine. I can't tell you when we first fell in love with each other, but I can tell you she has more guts and more courage and more strength in her pinky than most people do in their entire body. She does it with a smile, she does it with a sweet, warm way, but she's as tough as it ever gets. I'll tell you one little story. You know, look, I happen to believe in the state of Israel. I've been over there. I happen to believe that the Israelis, the Jewish community has wanted the planet forever, and for God's sake, let's give them a break. But not at the expense of the Palestinians. Not at the expense of other people. We have to learn how to work together. And when our mutual friend Stanley Scheinbaum met with Arafat, they ended up killing a pig and putting it on his driveway. You know, Stanley's now 94 and so is Betty. And we go way back on that. Maxine was right there. For her to be able to straddle the fence and figure out how to say things that cover the subject and doesn't leave the Palestinians down either, but that we're all connected and we're all part of it. No question about the civil rights movement. I started that when I was in high school. I live in Englewood, New Jersey. It's 25% African American. And right then and there I got involved in civil rights. I was fortunate enough to hang out with Martin Luther King in Cleveland, Ohio, when Carl Stokes got elected mayor. And I'm there sitting with him, we're having a lot of fun. Of course Carl Stokes was our friend. And this was a major moment. This was a major moment. Well, when I came here, I said yes right out the bat because I cannot think of a politician I've ever met that is as honest and has as much guts and integrity and stands for things that really matter to all of us than Maxine Waters. Round of applause. Karen Cantor is going to come up and play prop for me. Give Karen Cantor a round of applause. Now, Maxine has never gotten my eggs. You might not know this, but... Yes, she did. Last year. Wait a minute. For short-term memory, right? That's my short-term memory. Honestly, I don't remember it. But you know, these were laid today, just to let you know. My hens only eat organic grains. We have a deal with Whole Foods where we give them eggs and they give us their organic scraps, and our relationship's been going on for a long time. But this will nourish you and continue to support you and continue to give you the strength to continue to do the battles for all of us. So thank you very much. Love you very much. I'm hiding on the tree, but you know, that's helping me stand up. You saw a whole lot of candidates, a whole lot of politicians, a whole lot of everything. They're all here because this is a party that makes a difference and gets involved. All right, God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow, how do I follow these guys out? Thank you, Carl. I want to acknowledge a couple people right now in the audience in terms of the club. And one of those people is Dana Cook, sitting over there. I also want to acknowledge my wonderful friend Charlene Brax, sitting there, and Klaus. Charlene has been with us also from day one, and she's my real go-to person in terms of getting things done. And Maxine knows I love organization and timeliness. And Charlene is just the rock of the spot, I have to tell you. Anytime you need something, in terms of club, rock, go-to person, hosted our very first holiday party when we maybe had 20 members. Remember those days? And look how we've grown. What was that? That's right, that's right. Boy, this is 7 years ago, people. 7 years ago. There's just so many wonderful memories. And again, I want to thank my board. Where's Bill Rosendahl? And I have to say also to, no, Bill Roberts. Where's Bill? Right here. Thank you. He's fighting a challenge right now, and he's an amazing man. Through all this, he has just stood by and worked as hard as anybody can work in terms of being a board member on this club, and I want to thank you too. And also I wanted to recognize the fact, yeah, give him a big round of applause. Absolutely. Absolutely. And he is also being recognized this year as our 62nd Assembly Democrat Male of the Year. Let's give him another round of applause. As well as Colorado Democrat Woman of the Year. Chris Brown is here with us, the Mayor of Hawthorne. Welcome, 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 welcome. Who else? I just want to say this. You know, there's my friend Carolyn Fowler. We just had an amazing meeting, and it was so amazing to see with Charlene and Bev and everybody coming together, and all of our members. It was a packed meeting for a bylaws meeting, people. I mean, there was standing room only almost. Thank you, Carolyn, for your contribution to the club and to the Los Angeles Democratic Party. I'm going to move on and go and proceed with the program in terms of us honoring Congresswoman Waters. I'd like my board members and all the committee members to please come forward. Val, everybody, Vince, Travis, Greg, we have a little presentation for the Congresswoman. Yes.
All right.
Where's the rest of Susan Ward? Come on, don't be shy. Come, you guys, come up here. Come up here.
Oh my goodness.
Congresswoman Waters, on behalf of the Westchester-Playa Democratic Club, like I said, from Westchester to Wall Street to Washington, you are truly the people's representative. Today, coming from a family of 13 children from St. Louis, working in a garment factory as a child and segregated restaurants, right? Coming to Los Angeles and going to school and getting her teaching credential, continuing on and becoming a public servant for over 37 years, fighting the fight in terms of justice from apartheid to the streets of South LA, battling the CIA with their drug rings here in Los Angeles. I could go on and on and on, but let me just say this. When we have Congresswoman Waters back there serving as the highest ranking Democrat on the House Financial Services Committee, we know that we're being protected and we're not going to have a fallout like we had in that housing market before. I want to thank you for representing our district. I want to thank you for representing the people of this country. There's not one person that I can think of that doesn't really, really admire you. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart, as do all of our committee members and our board. We have you, we have your back. Okay. Yes. And you can always count on us. And on that note, we're all in this together. Thank you, Congresswoman Waters. Thank you.
We're all in this together. Who is that cute little lady? Is that cute or what?
Your picture 2 years ago.
Wow, what a day. What a day. First, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank Sheila Mickelson. I'd like to thank her not only for her leadership and the work that she's done here in Westchester, and her leadership of Westchester-Playa Democratic Club. I want to thank her for being my friend. We are truly friends. We are friends who have the opportunity to talk on telephone, to get together for lunch or dinner, and to explore ways by which we can strengthen this democracy. She has been a wonderful friend, and let me just tell you, she alluded to it several times today. She is the most organized, smart woman She is computer technology smart. She keeps up with everything. She knows what's going on in Sacramento and in Washington, D.C. and in Los Angeles, and she loves her some Westchester. Give her a big round of applause. Oh, there she is. I want to thank you, Sheila, for being my friend and for everything you stand for. You're a wonderful inspiration to so many people and a wonderful leader here in this city. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you so much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for honoring me today. To sit in that chair and listen to all of the accolades and tributes that were given to me is absolutely humbling, and I can't tell you how good you have made me feel. And on any number of times when I was hearing all of these good things about me, I had to kind of shake myself and say, who are they talking about? But I'm extremely appreciative. Let me say that my husband is here with me today, Ambassador Sidney Williams. My husband served as ambassador to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And as you know, he was a professional football player. And I want you to know that this man is like the Rock of Gibraltar. And I can count on him. And for this month that I've been on recess, he's been with me every day, no matter where I've had to go. And this district is big. I want you to know, from Lomita back to Englewood, etc., it takes a lot of traveling to cover this district and be involved in so many different kinds of events and so many different kinds of neighborhoods. But he's been a real partner, a real supporter, and just because I don't tell him often enough, I'm telling him in front of all of you. Would you help me to thank him? Yay. Thank you, Ambassador. My son is with me today, my firstborn. All right. Yes. Ed Waters is the coach of the varsity basketball team at Crenshaw High School. Ed Waters is a very bright young man who understands politics and government and cares a lot about public policy. And he has helped in any number of campaigns over the years and certainly has been supportive of me. But recently, he pulled himself away from this constant coaching that he does to get involved with a campaign that he thought was extremely important for this city and for this nation. He stopped everything he was doing and went to work for George McKenna. Yeah. And I welcomed him into the campaign because he had not been in a number of campaigns recently. And he talked about why it was so important and why education has to be our #1 priority. And what we need to do to give support to education and have the kind of leadership that will help guide this district. Thank you, Ed Waters. Give him a big round of applause. To all of the officers of the Westchester-Playa Democratic Club, I thank you for your volunteerism. I thank you for the sacrifices that you make in order to do the planning and execution that you do to make this Democratic Club work. And Mike and I are very serious when we talk about Sheila's leadership and what it has done for Westchester. It is without a doubt her leadership that has grown progressive politics in Westchester. I know from the time that I came, and they're being very kind, when they say people were scratching their heads and they were wondering, is she right for this district? It was a little bit worse. Yeah. It was more like, I don't think this is right for you. I don't know if you know what we're concerned about. And so, not only did they learn that I care about the issues here in Westchester, but I was willing to fight for them. And I want to tell you, we all have an appreciation for our airport. It's an economic engine that creates a lot of jobs and opportunities, right, Mac? But I tell you, we do not support expansion We do not support pollution. We do not support this community being invaded even by that economic engine. We've told them so. We've stood up to them. We're still fighting the good fight, and we will continue to do it. Is that right? Sheila touched on some of the other issues, and I won't go into all of them, but let me say to the sponsors who are here today and the elected officials who are sponsoring and paying these wonderful tributes to me, thank you so very, very much. As elected officials, you know and understand the difficulties and the complications of these positions that we find ourselves in. But we love public policy and we love public service, and that's why we do it. Al Muratsuchi, he is all over the place. He talks about me being all over the place, but I see him every place that I am. And we have to cover Torrance, we have to cover Harbor Gateway, we have to cover Lomita and Harbor City, and on up into Hawthorne, and on and on and on. But I thank you. You're doing a wonderful job, a wonderful representative, and you must be reelected. Yeah. With Mike Bonin, a seamless transition from Rosendahl to Mike Bonin. He knows this district like the back of his hand, and he has executed. Long before he was even elected, we could count on him. While he was looking out for his boss and doing everything that he could for him, he was out meeting and engaging and working on behalf of this district. And I want to tell you, I don't simply pay attention to what's going on in Congress. You know, I keep an ear to the ground on all of the levels of representation. And when I wanted some advice about what was going on at the County Board of Supervisors relative to our airport and our transportation, I call on Mike Bonin. That's my connection. Thank you, Mike. Thank you for being here. Steve Bradford, I want to thank you. I didn't know that you remembered or knew some of that stuff you talked about. As a matter of fact, I'm always pleased when those who, you know, come a bit later than, you know, I started. And when they have good things to say about the work that I've done in the past, I'm amazed. And I'll just stop for a moment and tell you, as I travel across the country, I have young people who come up to me. They're not so young anymore. As a matter of fact, they look pretty mature to me. And they say, "Oh, Miss Waters, you came to my school when I was in the 3rd grade." And I was thinking about that today when I was listening to some of these tributes that were given to me. Ted is not here, but he's got to be reelected. I mean, he's got to be elected to Congress. That's it. We're having a difficult time in the House of Representatives. We're having a difficult time, and we'd like to at least pick up 17 new members. It's going to be tough, but we're working, and we're working very hard to get that done. We're also paying attention to the Senate, because, you know, we've got to keep that Senate. We've got to keep control, because if we don't, the Tea Party will ruin this country.
That's right. That's right.
Let me say to Greg and Travis, and their parents who are here. Where are the parents? Well, there they are.
Parents are here.
Parents. I want them to stand up with you. Stand up.
And the mother's up. Here's the mother. Hey, Mom.
First of all, there she is, for opening up this home to us and allowing us to be here, and to have your parents here supporting the Democratic Club, supporting you and all of us. Give them another big round of applause. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so very, very much. Let me just take a moment to tell you a little bit about today. Earlier today, we were at the swearing in of George McKenna. And I felt so good. I felt so good because his election gave me hope for our school board. You know, school board is a tough place to be. And they've not always been able to execute in ways that we believe they should be doing. We have here School Board Member Zimmer. Please come up this way. We think that with George McKenna, we're giving him the kind of support that he needs, working with the other members of the board who are progressive members, to take this district in a new direction. Thank you, Steve Zimmer, so very, very much. Some people said to me, don't you have enough to worry about in Congress with all that's going on without getting involved in the school board election? Long time ago, I just gave myself permission to do whatever I wanted. And so, this election has been extremely important to me. It has been inspiring to me, and it has helped me to do something that I feel that I should have done a long time ago, even though I was never on the track to provide the kind of public policy leadership in education, because I thought, well, there's so many people involved in education, they'll get it done. And I didn't contribute a lot in Sacramento. I was doing all those other things that people talked about. But now I'm back on the track, no matter what I'm doing in Congress, to be right there for education, because that's the future of our country. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, Congress is difficult now. We're polarized. Unfortunately, we're polarized in ways that I have not witnessed in the time that I have been there. Unfortunately, for those members on the opposite side of the aisle, the Republicans on the opposite side of the aisle, they have been undermined by the Tea Party. Some of those Republicans were people who would meet, work with you, form a consensus, and we could get some things done. Doesn't work that way anymore, because many of them have been intimidated by the Tea Party, and they are afraid to take common ground with those of us, even when they believe we're on the right track. I am the ranking member of the Financial Services Committee, and it has been a very, very tough and interesting and complicated job. I became ranking member after we did something called the Dodd-Frank reforms. Those reforms came about after we had that 2008 subprime meltdown in this country, where we bailed out all of these financial institutions, and we watched as neighborhoods were practically destroyed in some instances because of the subprime meltdown and all of the foreclosures that took place. Some areas of this country were fortunate, but ladies and gentlemen, if you could see what happened in Detroit, and in Cleveland, and in Arizona, and right here in California with San Bernardino, Riverside, and other places, and in some of the communities right adjacent to this one, you would know why those Dodd-Frank reforms are so important. And so we're fighting every day to implement them, despite the fact Democrats are in the minority, and the Republicans are doing everything that they possibly can to not only avoid the Dodd-Frank reforms, but to try and destroy them. And it is tough work. We still have issues about the too big to fail institutions in this country. And we still have those who think that we have come up with all of the answers by which to deal with the risks that many of them are creating. But I want you to know, we're still at risk. We still have some of the biggest banks in this country involved in derivatives trading that puts us all at risk. We have one of the big banks that lost $6 billion on one trade. And I want to tell you, it could happen again, even though we're trying to invoke what is known as the Volcker Rule and do all of these things to have transparency with these derivatives and these kind of trading. And it keeps you up night and day, studying and following what's going on. Sheila said from Westchester to Wall Street, it had more meaning than she thought. It is absolutely true that we are doing everything that we can to make sure that we don't get into the situation again that we found ourselves starting in 2008, but it's rough. It is very tough. That's why we've got to hold on to the Senate. When those bills come past my committee, where they're trying to destroy the Dodd-Frank reforms and to contain the greediness of the financial institutions in this country who have ripped off people for far too long, they get past our committee because we're in the minority. But we can count on the Senate to stop it before it goes any further. And that's why it's so important that we hold on to the Senate, even though we're struggling to try and take back the House. It's going to be difficult to take back the House, but I think we can hold on to the Senate. We're working very, very hard. I want you to know that you must know and you must think at this point, how is it that Congress can be so polarized when I cannot tolerate ISIS or any other terrorist organization chopping off the heads of Americans, and I'm going to join with those in Congress who say that we're not going to tolerate it. We're going to join hands with other nations and say, let's all go after those who would do these kinds of deeds. And we've got to get that done. We've got to get that done. And this is why, even though we disagree on a lot, I don't care whether you're a blue dog Democrat, or you're a right-wing Republican, or you're a progressive or a liberal, we've got to come together for the good of this country and make sure that we do not have the kind of risks that we see arising on the international scale. We cannot be everywhere at one time. We cannot pay for engagement in several places at one time. And that's why we have to come together to make sure that we agree on the kind of policies that will hold us in good stead. Now, kind of enough about Congress, because I don't want to bore you, nor do I want to depress you. But I want you to know that this election, this midterm election, is extremely important. And we've got to not only get out to vote, we've got to encourage others to get out to vote all over this country. The voter turnout statistics are absolutely shameful in America. We don't know why, and perhaps we don't have the answers, but we've got to find the answers. We've got to find the answers, because if we do not vote, we will not protect the democracy. That's right. It's simple as that. And so I am very appreciative for the honor that has been given to me. And I know sometimes people perhaps don't understand, why is she doing one more thing? Why is she involved in one more effort? Why don't she just concentrate on one or two things? But of course, somehow I was born to this woman called Beverly Moore, who just passed a month ago, 97 years old. And she was a strong woman. She was a fighter. And she taught us to stand up for what we believe in. She taught us never to be intimidated. And she taught us always to be fair, to treat people decently and good and right, and to be fair. And that's what I try and do. And before I go to bed at night, and sometimes in the morning, I have to ask myself, did you do the right thing today? Did you do the best thing that you could do? Were you fair? Did you respect other people today? And if I cannot answer yes to all of those things, I have to dedicate myself to try and do better the next day. Each day must be a better day for public policy, for public service, for working for those who are depending on you, that send you to Congress and these other legislative bodies to represent. And that's what I try and do. And I thank you for honoring me and recognizing any of those things that were identified here today and other things that people are saying to me. And I promise you, for as long as I can get up every Monday morning and get on that airplane and get to Washington, D.C. and get back here every Thursday night or Friday, I will continue to do it and represent you in the best way that I possibly can. Thank you.
Mayor Butts, hello, the Mayor of Inglewood. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for coming. We're not going to end this, you guys. We're going to party tonight. Yes! Okay, girlfriend, let's do it.
Well, you know, she talks about partying. The yips are here. Where are the yips?
Right over there.
Come on here, yip girl. You know, we have We have a Christmas party every year, and you know, we have a group of people who come every year, and the Yips are always there. And I want to tell you, when they talk about dancing, I can't keep up with all these new dances. The only thing I know how to do is electric slide, and I've been doing that for 100 years.
Wobble too. Learn how to wobble.
Oh, you're trying to get me? But guess what I discovered? Who could do the electric slide better than me?